So if I'm going to if I'm going to play a projector, I'm going to project upon just some individual listening to everything you just said. And what I'm going to say on their behalf is it sounds like you are extremely grounded and you have a great amount of acceptance of a lot of truths about human behavior and human mentality and just the overall our overall current modern framework especially. And then so now I'm removing that projection and now I'm speaking on behalf of me. To me, I would say I'm not saying you've never said these words. This has never come out of your mouth. Again, if anything, you're self-deprecating. But I would say you sound enlightened to me. But let's say that you are, let's just for the sake of argument say that you are some kind of enlightened compared to the average person. How many years, if using my definition of enlightened being able to articulate what you just said and mean what you just said and have the perception relating to what you just said. I just want you to tell people how many years have you been walking this particular path?
Um, yeah, so this is where for both of us, right? It's well, one, I would say I think the people who have shaped me, namely my mom and my grandmother, um, were critical in just like my just kind of disposition in just like the way that I am, being inclined to pursue this. The other thing I would say is I'm saying all of these things, but I am the most skeptical, judgmental motherfucker you'll ever meet. And it is because I am like constantly on guard. So that's my fault right there. Like that is something that I'm continuously working on because I would rather be live in exile than deal with the judgment of other people who I know are fools in the same way that I am, but don't recognize it. So I am deeply flawed in that sense. But I would say like at least being able to acknowledge these things. I mean, it's just been a long journey. And look, we had uh you know one of the milestones in that, or at least the start of like some exponential growth was Katrina.
Oh yes.
And that's been 20 years right there. But I would say, especially since then, just been more focused on that and just becoming a better and more decent person, especially that was at the, you know, end of that was at the start of our adult years, right?
Hmm.
Very end of adolescence, heading into adulthood. Katrina happened, place New Orleans. That especially led to a lot of growth and just kind of eyes opened and just needing to and also the generosity of many people that I've met as a result of that. I think kind of softened me too, and created some fertile ground for some sort of water and some sort of growth to happen. And then I, at the same time, like I have my issues, I have my trust issues, all of that. But I would say that Katrina was a critical point in that. And over the last 20 years, I've been, you know, trying my best. I have my ups and downs, I have my periods where I regress. But I do feel like I've grown a lot as a result of that and everything that followed.
Exactly. And despite everything I just said, complimentary wise and everything you just said. So to me, to even out the edges here, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to say if I were to not know you and be like, I got issues or whatever, people have issues. Like on how strongly do you feel you have issues on a scale of 1 to 10?
What do you like on it? Like 10 being
10 being you are like super messed up and you're trying your best. One being I kind of have issues here and there, but I'm trying my best.
I mean, and I'm gonna try to answer this honestly. I'm not gonna say something like I'm a 12. But honestly,
I thought you
like I
would.
have my like uh it's like I will harp on the issues that I do have. And if I focus on those,
Yeah.
it yeah, it is like it's I got like a 15 here and there.
Yeah.
But I would just say in general, man, if the average person met me, engaged me, and would have become, we would have developed a relationship. like in terms of my issues, I would say I have I don't know, like a five, you
Okay.
know? Like
Okay.
I got some red flags there,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I am seeking harmony. I do hate any personal drama. I
Mm.
try to avoid it. And for those people who I do develop a relationship with, it can generally be healthy. Now there's certain, points where, yeah, it may not be because of my own personal issues, but um I'm not a toxic person.
Right.
So that's why, but I can be honest about the fact that I have to slice that up and realize that there's certain parts of me that are like really fucked up. But then there's other parts that aren't, Like I'm
Yeah.
not a vicious person, vindictive, any of that stuff. So I'm not totally messed up. But
Right.
yeah, I got it's a real mixed bag.
Yeah, and that was a bit of an unfair question because it was so generic in general. What I wanted to highlight and asking that, the thing is, often when I talk to people who are actually toxic, who are indulged in toxicity, they try to act as if their quote unquote issues, let's say their inclinations to be toxic, for example, to be unhealthy, to be unreasonable, to just engage in toxic way, they they act as if that is this major barrier that prevents them from growth, as if they can't do anything about it. I've heard somebody even frame it as like there's these demons inside of me. I've heard it all. And the reason
Yeah,
why I say
yeah.
that is because no, I know like there isn't toxicity within you, but I would say it's only because of the massive perpetual constant effort you put in. Because I'll speak for myself. I would be toxic as hell if I just let myself be on autopilot like the average person. So what I was really trying to get, I suppose, is how important it is not to have autopilot, not to indulge this proclivity to be on autopilot, and not to indulge this sense of all this stuff wrong with me, because all that matters is effort. All that matters is effort.
That's
And
it. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's like putting in that effort. And that's why instead of even saying I have demons in me, like depending on the day, I am some type of demon. So it's like, what do I do to like grow and mature beyond that? You know what I
yes,
mean? And
yes.
this is where I fully embrace all my Catholic guilt,
Hmm.
and yes, I am, a deeply flawed person. There's no path to perfection for me. All I can do is attempt to be better. That is the only path, forward for me. Just striving to be better, knowing that I'll fail, but I need to get up, try again.
Yeah, people, when you say that too, because I know you mean it, because I know it's true what you just said. I know it's true. I suppose people have a cynicism towards that sort of proclamation, because what I also know it's true is every other person that I've ever seen in my life, for the most part, like just majority wise, 95% of the people I've ever seen profess they would like to change and this and that, they don't actually change and they don't actually put the effort in. So a lot of people are jaded with the notion of, I'm not I'm not, I have all of these negative inclinations. I have all of this susceptibility to toxicity, but I'm gonna put my best foot forward. I don't think a lot of people even know what that actually looks like. And I guess my point is, we're examples of it, because were we to not be mindful on a daily basis and to constantly have conversations where we're calling ourselves out on our BS with each other, I th it's a cathartic process.